So I'm starting. All right, so let's look at illustration 2. Let's see. This should be it. Oh. Okay, let's look at 2. Now, in a firm, this is also ICAN adapted. In a firm, a detailed budget of costs and sales at various levels had been prepared. But due to the computer's operator's negligence, most of the information were destroyed. The following are the data that could be rescued. Sales level in units, 6,000 and 8,000. That is what was produced in units. The costs incurred are material, labor, and overhead at different levels of operation. Selling price is 8 naira per unit at all levels, whether 6,000, whether 8,000, you sell at 8 naira. You are required to compute the fixed elements, if any, of each component cost, and B, the break-even point in units and in value. Now, this one is telling us that we should calculate the fixed element, if any, of each component cost. The question is, what are the component costs? The component costs in these questions are what? Material costs, labor costs, and overhead costs. So the question is trying to tell us that this total cost in material, it comprises of variable costs and fixed costs. Are you getting it? So they want us to get the fixed element out of it for only material cost. We are going to also get the fixed element out of labor cost. We're also going to get the fixed element out of what? Overhead cost. So the question is trying to test you if there are fixed costs inside this amount, and inside this amount. That is why it says that the fixed element, if any, of each component cost. If the question did not state of each component cost, you just need to get the fixed elements of this cost. We can simply pick the highest, isn't it, and the lowest by adding everything together. But since they say we should get the component cost, then we're going to solve it individually: material, labor, and overhead. So let's see what we want to do. Here's our solution. So if you see what I said testing for fixed cost in material cost. So I want to know if there's fixed cost inside material cost. So what did I do? What am I making use of? High and low method, isn't it?
Yes, sir.
Okay, so the high and low method, what is important to me is what? The costs and the what? The units. If you look at the first question that we solved, this sales was in naira. But if you look at this one, the sales is in units. So I need the unit and I need the what? The cost. So those are my two variables that I need. So 6,000 and 8,000. And I have what? 18,000 and what? 24,000. So what is the highest among these two activity level? 8,000, isn't it? So I'm going to say 8,000 yes, minus what? 6,000. For material, among the two activity level, what is the highest? 24,000. I'm going to say 24,000 minus what? 18,000. As simple as that. So that's what I did here. 8,000 minus 6,000, then 24,000 minus 18,000. So once I minus, I have 2K and I have 6K. What do? I have to divide total cost, which is 6,000, by total units, 2,000. 6,000 divided by 2,000. This is already in units, so I do not need to go and be saying 2,000 divided by 8 naira, because the question was giving me 8 naira as selling price. I don't need to do 2,000 divided by 8 naira because this one is already in units. No need to divide to get unit again. I hope you are following. So I got 3 naira per unit for variable cost. Now that I know my variable cost, the next thing I need to do is to what? Move to fixed cost. And what did I say you use to get your fixed cost? You can either use your cost function, which is y equals to a plus bx, or you use this normal simple formula. Fixed cost is equals to what? Total cost minus variable cost. Or use the formula that we use there, anyone at all. As far as you are getting fixed cost, this is a function to get fixed cost. Fixed cost is what we are looking for. What's our total cost? To get total cost, I told you that we have two total costs in the question. Isn't it? These are our costs. We have 24,000 and we have 18,000. So what you need to do is that you can either pick this one or pick this one. So what did I do? I used the one under I, 24,000. So I picked 24,000. Minus, what's my variable cost per unit? 3 naira. Then what is my quantity sold? 8,000. If I'm picking 24,000, I must pick the corresponding unit, 8,000. I cannot pick 6,000 because I'm not using 18,000. So since I picked 24,000, I must use the corresponding unit sold, which is what? 8,000 under I. That was why I pick 8,000. So if you have fixed cost, is equal to what? 24,000 minus, if you multiply, you have 24,000. So in this case, fixed cost is 0. It simply means that under material, there is no fixed cost incurred. All the costs are variable costs. Does that make sense now?
Yes, sir.
We'll test again for number 2, testing for fixed cost in labor costs. What do I need for my labor cost? I still need my 8,000 minus 6,000. Then how much did I spend for labor? How much did I spend for labor? 15,000 and 19,000. So the highest minus the lowest. As simple as that. So 19 minus 15,000. So once I subtract, I have 2K and I have 4K. So I just have to divide 4K divided by 2K. And I have my variable cost per unit. I go and check my fixed cost by using the same equation. Fixed cost equals to total cost minus variable cost. In this case, I made use of low. If you can check, I made use of low, 15K. So 15K minus what? Variable cost per unit is 2 naira multiplied by how many units did I sell? Remember, I used 6,000, not 8,000, because this is corresponding. So 6K. So once you multiply, you have 12K. If you minus, fixed cost is 3,000. So it simply means that the fixed cost in labor cost is what? 3,000 naira. While variable cost per unit is what? 2 naira. Okay, I think we already have one to test, which is variable costs. That's the last one to test. So testing for fixed cost in overhead, okay, overhead costs. The same thing, 8,000 minus 6,000. The total amount we spent was 14,700 and 11,700. So if you minus, we have 3K. Once you divide, we have 1.5 as variable cost per unit. We'll use the same formula and we'll slot it in. So our total cost is what? 14,700 means we are using what? I. So minus 1.5 is our variable cost per unit times the corresponding is 8K. That's how we got it. So we have 12K and we have 14,700. Once you minus our fixed cost in this case is what? 2,700. So only overhead cost and labor cost have fixed cost. Material does not have fixed cost. Are we done with that? Good. So we have been able to determine the fixed element, if any, of each component cost. The next thing for us to do is B, which says the break-even point in units and in value. With our formula at the back of our mind, what is break-even point in units? Fixed cost all over contribution. Are we there? So what is our fixed cost? Fixed cost here is 0. So our fixed cost here is what? 3,000 plus what? 27.
27.
Then what is my contribution? Contribution simply means sales minus variable cost, isn't it? So my sales, you already know, is 8 naira in the question. What's our variable cost? Remember, we got variable cost here. 3 naira. That is this one, 3 naira. Then we got how much here again? Down. We got 2 naira, as I got this 2 naira here. And the last one, variable cost is 1.5. That's how I got this 1.5. So 8 minus all these amounts summed together gave me 1.5. So 57 minus divided by 1.5, I got what? 3,800 units. That is the total number of units I need to sell for me to have total profit equals to total cost equals to what? Total revenue. That is, there's no profit. Any amount that I sell that is below 3,800, I'm going to make loss. Are you getting it? What any amount I sell above 3,800, I'm going to make profit. Below 3,800 is loss. Equal to 3,800, no profit, no loss. Above 3,800, I'm going to make profits. Does that sound clear?
Yes, sir.
Okay, then the last is BEP in naira. Very simple. I already know my BEP in units, 3,800, multiplied by selling price, and that's going to give me 30,400. It means that if I produce 3,800 units, what I'm going to get from it is what? 30,400, which is my BEP in sales value. And that brings us to the end of question 2. Are you with me?
Yes, sir.
Okay, so that's the end of question 2. Let me see. Do we have any other question there? That should be question 4. The question 4. Do you have the solution here? The question 3. Okay, I think that's question 3. Okay, that's okay. Adebola, this question 4. Adebola, I have the solution here. Adebola. This is Adebola Manufacturing Limited. So these are my solutions for Adebola. Okay, let's see how we can go about this. So question 4, we are told to calculate BEP, break-even point in units and in sales, which I think we've done. Break-even point in units, break-even point in sales. So I told us to calculate what? Okay, it gave us the amount of profit if sales is reduced to 100,000. So I think we solved that here. What profit will be if sales is 100,000 units? So let me explain this. Let's go to the question first. Now, question 4 is a very simple question. The company the following are the information taken from the production plan of Adebola Manufacturing Company Limited for 2012 relating to the manufacture and sale of honey soap. Planned level of production and sales is 120,000 units. That is what we want to produce and that's what we want to sell. The planned one that is budgeted. Our selling price is 20 naira. Variable costs, we incur material and labor 8 and 7. Then apportion fixed overhead 2 naira. So all the cost to produce is 17 naira. If you say total sales minus total cost is what? 3 naira. This is just the question, as short as this. Then this is the requirement. Calculate the break-even point in units and in sales. What do I need to know for break-even point in units and in sales? Now, break-even point in units is total of what? Fixed cost over what? Contribution. What's our fixed cost in the question? Per unit fixed cost is 2 naira. Per unit fixed cost is what we mean by apportion fixed cost. What we looked at under our absorption costing, that is overhead per fixed cost per unit. The simple way to look at this is simply by saying fixed cost per unit. But because we are in costing, we have to call it using costing terminology, apportion fixed cost or absorbed fixed cost. So per unit is 2 naira. So 2 naira multiplied by the total number of units is going to give us our total fixed cost. That's what we use in this. So our total fixed cost is what? 2 naira multiplied by 120,000 units. Contribution per unit is 20 naira. Minus cost our variable cost 8 and 7. Let's confirm. 8 is our variable cost, 7 is also our variable cost. So we put that in and we minus and we got 5. Total fixed cost divided by contribution per unit. Remember, total fixed cost divided by contribution per unit will now give us what? BP in units. That is how we got 48,000 units. Is this one clear?
Yes, sir.
Now, BP in naira. Now that we have in units, we just need to multiply by what? Selling price, isn't it? Good. And our selling price is 20 naira. So just multiply. We got 960,000. So if we are selling 48,000 units, we are going to be making 960,000 naira as our BP in naira. Now, I now says that the amount of profit if sales is reduced to 100,000 units. So what are we going to get as profits if sales is reduced to 100,000 units? Don't forget, this thing that is here is prepared based on 120,000 units. Now let us adjust this 120,000 units to 100 units and see what our profit is going to be. So we need to prepare something like this again. That is why in my solution, I prepared something like this. How? I said my sales is already 20 naira per unit. It does not change. Multiplied by the 100,000 units. That's how I got 2 million. Are you getting it? My variable cost is what? 15 naira. How do I know? 8 plus 7 is variable cost. And don't forget, variable cost per unit is fixed. Variable cost in total is variable. Variable cost per unit is fixed. Variable cost in total is variable. So in the question, my variable cost is 8 and 7. I add it together to get 15. And that is what I use to multiply 100,000 units. What I'm concerned about is the 100,000 units that the question said I had to change. So what do I have? 1.5. So my sales minus my variable cost gives me what? 500K contribution. What is my fixed cost? Fixed cost is fixed, isn't it? 240,000, which is 2 naira times 120. You cannot say 2 naira times 100.
Why? Oh,
Are you with me?
why can't you say 2 times 100?
Because fixed cost does not change as your activity is changing. So it does not mean that because you produce 50 naira now, you will not begin to change fixed cost. Fixed cost is fixed. We will make use of our plan, our budgeted. Remember when we were doing absorption costing, we made use of what? Normal activity level. You remember?
Yes, sir.
Good. That is this 129 is our normal activity level. So you don't need to change it. So we'll make use of our normal activity level when determining fixed cost. So we'll say, what can the factory produce? 120,000 units. Okay, that is to say every unit is going to take what? Oh, sorry. Sorry. That is, every unit is going to take what? Every unit is going to take what? 2 naira.
240.
Yes. So the total is what? 240,000. So please don't make the mistake. Output has changed in the question, 100,000 units, but don't change fixed cost. Fixed cost, we use fixed cost based on normal activity level or planned activity level, which is 240, which is 120,000 units. So that's how I got my 240K, which is this one here. Are you getting it? Then what is going to be our profit? Our profit is going to be what? 260,000 naira. Are you getting it? So that is going to be our profit. So let's see in the question. All these ones are per unit, isn't it? So if you multiply them with 120,000, you are going to see the difference between profits that you get when it is 120,000 and profit you are going to get when we did it at what? At 100,000. Does it make sense?
But sir, why do you need to multiply it to see? Is it compulsory?
To multiply what?
Why do you need to multiply the question by 100?
Okay, because they are telling us to get the profit when 100 is produced.
Sorry, I mean 120. Why just multiply by 120?
By
Are you
what?
trying to compare the two profits?
By 120?
Are you going to are you going to redo this thing again by multiplying it by 120 to compare the two profits?
No. You don't need to do for 120 again. The question only asks that the amount of profit, get the amount of profit if sales is reduced to 100,000. It did not tell you to compare with the previous one.
Okay.
If it says that what is the difference in profit if sales is reduced from 120,000 to 100,000? You see that question, Abi?
Yes, sir.
It means you need to get for 120 and get for 100, then you now get the difference in profit. But this one is just asking the amount of profit. So just solve for only 100K. So what is the amount of profit? The amount of profit is what? It's 260,000 naira. If sales is reduced to what? 100,000 units. Does it make sense?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Then the final requirement is what? The final requirement is III. The company has now received information from market research, which suggests that price and demand for honey soap are related as follows. So they went to do market research. Forget about this one now. The new market research is saying that if we sell at 16 naira, people are going to be demanding for 180. If we sell at 18 naira, demand will drop to 150. If we now increase our price to 20 naira, sir, demand is going to drop to 120. So the more we increase our price, the more demand is going to what? Fall. So this is the relationship between price and demand. Requirements. Calculate whether Adebola Manufacturing Company Limited has chosen the optimal level of production for the year. What is the optimal level of production? 120,000 units, because that is what they planned. That is their optimal level. Has chosen the optimal level of production for the year and advise the management on production for the year on the related price that should be charged. So we are going to determine if this 120 that they have chosen as optimal level is correct. And we're also going to determine, they say we should advise management on production for the year. So we want to know how many should we produce and the related price. Should we produce 150, for example, and sell at 18 naira? We are just going to see how we're going to solve this now. We are going to use a table to solve this. So because we have different price level and different quantity. So I just need to slot these two into a table. How? Because I need to get the one that will give me the highest contribution. Anyone that gives me the highest profit is what I'm going for. So if it is 22 naira that will give me the highest profit, simply means I'm going to what? Produce like 90,000. My demand is going to be what? 90,000. And I'm going to sell at 22 naira. But let's just check. What's my quantity? I picked everything: 180, 150, 120, 90, and 60. What is the selling price? I picked everything in the question: 16, 18, 20, 22, 24. They are all in the question. Look at it. 16, 18, 20, 22, 24. I picked them. Then I said that how much will I get as contribution, like profit, but contribution is not profit. But how much will I get as contribution from these sales? So if I sell at 16 and variable cost is 15, don't forget variable cost is already in the question. We have solved for it, which is this 20 minus 8. We have for variable cost 8 plus 7, 15. That one is contribution. 8 plus 7 is 15. So 15 is going to apply to all of them. Then my contribution is going to be 1 here, isn't it? 18 minus 15 is what? 3. 20 minus 15 is 5. 22 minus 15 is what? 7. 24 minus 15 is what? 9. These are my contribution. Don't forget, I also need to get what? Total contribution. So how do I get total contribution? Total quantity to produce multiplied by total contribution is what? Multiplied by contribution per unit is total contribution. So 150 multiplied by 3 is 450. 120 multiplied by 5 is what? 600. 90 multiplied by 7 is 630. 60 multiplied by 9 is what? 540. Are you with me?
Yes, sir.
Okay.
So
So
the
remember, after
contribution
contribution,
here,
what's the next thing I need to deduct? Is my fixed cost, isn't it? Because I've deducted variable cost.
sir, sorry, the contribution here, is it contribution per unit?
This one is per unit. This one is per unit. This one is total. Once you multiply contribution per unit by total units, you get total contribution. This is 180. 1 times 180. 180. 3 multiplied by 150 is 450. That's how I got total contribution. You get it now?
Mm.
Okay, so what's my fixed cost? Fixed cost is already in the question, 240,000, as we know, and it's fixed. So fixed cost applied to all of them, the same amount, it doesn't change. So 180 total contribution minus fixed cost of 240. I'm going to make a loss here of 60,000. But yeah, I'm going to be getting total contribution of 450, and I only spend 240 on fixed cost. I still have 210 left. Total contribution minus fixed cost gives me profit. That's the formula for profit. Total contribution minus fixed cost is profit. So yeah, 630 minus 240, I got what? 390. Then 540 minus 240, I got what? 300. Now, with what we have solved, we have 60 to the negative, we have 210 positive, 360, 390, and 300 positive. Which one will you choose? Using profits, which one are you going to go for?
90.
390, because it has the highest
sorry,
profit.
300.
It has the highest profit of 390.
But sir, why aren't you using 24,000? Why are you using 240? Why did you divide it?
Which one?
For your fixed cost, why are you not using the full 240,000?
It's the same now. Divide. Press your calculator. The zero is just like it's up. You understand? So even if I do 240,000 minus 180,000, don't forget, I'll still get my 60,000. Because this is in thousand, 180, they're in thousands. Are you seeing it?
Yeah, just
They're in thousand. So I just have to add my 3 zeros. Add my 3 zeros here and minus. I'll still get the same answer. You understand? So
yes, sir.
I'm having 390 as the highest profit, and that is what I should go for. So I should be producing how many units? 90,000 units, isn't it? Good. I should be producing 90,000 units. Look at, I was producing 120 because 120 was my activity level, was my normal activity level. Let's confirm. Let's confirm. In the question, 120 was my normal activity level. So at 120, what is my company? What is my company making? At 120, what is my company making?
360,000.
360. But the cost accountant now say, if we reduce this 120 to 90, and sell at 22 naira, sir, we are going to be making 390,000 naira. The manager will say, wow, wow, wow. That means we can produce 90, we have saved resources, isn't it? We will
Yes,
just
sir.
increase selling price by 2 naira, and they will still buy now, and we'll make a profit of 390. So therefore, 120,000 is not the optimum what quantity. That is what the question wants you to determine. It says calculate whether Adebola Manufacturing Company Limited has chosen the optimal level of production. No, because another level of production, which is 90, is giving us a higher profit than what? The 120. Does it make sense?
Yes, sir.
Good. And the new selling price is now going to be what? 22 naira. This is all about illustration. This illustration, Adebola illustration. So we're going to solve I, and I. They are all ICAN questions. So at this level, go to your past question guard, look for theoretical questions on CVPA and solve them. Okay? So I don't know if you've solved
Okay.
them.
Also, I've not solved it though.
You've not solved it?
No,
Okay.
I don't know it.
Okay, now that you have known it. Hold on. Now that you have known it.